Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Dr. Glenn Vo, and I am super excited to have, literally, he is a newbie now. He's the newbie to the group, not newbie to what he does, newbie to the group. It's Brian Ash. He is the marketing director over at Darkhorse. Brian, what's up, man?
It's great to be here. It's Friday. It's a great day to connect, have a chat,
Yeah,
introduce ourselves.
do a live stream. And what's so cool is that Ruben, everyone knows Ruben Camp, founder of Darkhorse Tech, and Darkhorse has been so awesome for our group. And I'm super excited to bring you in here because, again, I'm sure he's told you about our group. And the great thing about our community is that we have a close relationship with each other, but also with all our vendors. So we're super happy that you're in here. And again, Ruben just threw you right into the fire and said, hey, do a Facebook Live with me. So let's start off with this. Let's start off with this because I always like to connect everyone with the group members. So this is the first time everyone in our group and also existing Darkhorse clients, this is the first time they're meeting you. So let's give us a little bit of your background and how did you get sucked into the Darkhorse team and then sucked into our group? How did that all happen?
Yeah, for sure. It's a winding story, but first and foremost, yeah, there's definitely some Nifty Thrifty members that I've worked with directly. Okay. So about 2 years ago, I had no sounds like the hair club for men commercial is how I like to think about how I got to where I am. So maybe 6 years ago, I was working for a brewery, a local brewery in upstate New York, and Darkhorse happened to be our IT company. So Darkhorse is dental specific. However, free beer trumps everything. So
let me ask you this. So they were doing the IT, but were they also customers of the brewery as well?
Yeah, a little bit of both. A little bit of both for sure. We were having a lot of issues, and Darkhorse came in, and not only were our issues resolved, but this team of people that I saw day to day, or every couple of weeks, were just friendly, really efficient, effective. And as I started to think about kind of where I was going in my career, I knew it was time for me to move on, try something new, try a new challenge. And I approached Ruben directly and just said, your team comes in here and they're happy. They love what they do and they do a great job. Can you introduce me to other owners of businesses that you are aware of who have a similar mindset? And after, an hour-long conversation, we just kind of looked at each other and said, well, maybe we work together.
Yeah.
And so for the last, about 2 years ago, for a year, I was working the sales side with Ruben. And that's how I got to meet a lot of the folks through Nifty Thrifty. And then about a year ago, kind of started transitioning into the marketing side of things.
So you're new in the Nifty Thrifty group, but you're not exactly new in the Darkhorse team. You've been there for over a year then.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, cool. So then you understand, and I'm glad that you shared that story, because a lot of times when people are looking at different companies to work with, the big reason why I always recommend Darkhorse, and actually I use Darkhorse myself. The big reason is, well, it's all about the relationships, right? I know that they're going to take care of my practice. I know they take care of all the Nifty members, right? And here's the thing. That's a testimonial right there. Brian was in a different business, and he connected with the Darkhorse team and Ruben, and just saw how happy everyone was, how the culture was great. And when you're thinking about working with companies, right? Especially a company that's working with your IT, you want a company that has a team that is happy, right? They're not dreading coming in. They hate their job. Well, if they hate their job, it's going to translate to their work. So I'm super happy that you brought that up. And again, that just segues right into my first question. And people always say, well, why do I want to work with Darkhorse Tech for? I'm going to work with Johnny down the street. Johnny, he does IT on the side. He has a day job. He does IT on the side, and it's so much cheaper. Again, why why work with Darkhorse when you could work with like Johnny down the street or maybe the Geek Squad or something like that?
Right,
Brian,
right.
what's the big difference?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to resolve your IT needs. Johnny on the side sounds like a deal. Like
I
he's
mean,
a buddy.
he might be slinging something else too. Who knows?
You never know exactly. But you can approach it that way. Maybe somebody who does IT, has an affinity for computers, networks, and you bring them in and they set up your network, and then things are functioning, and a week later you're like, oh hey, this just happened and it's kind of an emergency, can you help me out? Like, oh no, I've got other things I have to do. I've got my other job, I've got other clients. It'll be a week before I can get to you. And then maybe they can get to you, but the expertise isn't there when it comes to dental specific aspects of IT. So really what makes us different than an individual who does it, or a geek squad who has a team but doesn't have that specific industry knowledge, is that this is all we do. Despite the story I just told you, it is just dental IT. So knowing the ins and outs of if you're running certain practice management software, how is that going to match up with different imaging software? And there is always little items that our team just knows from years and years and years of servicing. There probably isn't a piece of hardware or software that you could put in front of us from the dental world that our team hasn't had experience with, and some sort of crossover between all of the various software and hardware that connects. So that's the main
Yeah, no,
difference.
absolutely. And you brought up some very, very interesting points. I mean, again, I don't know about you guys, but whenever something goes down in my practice, I need it fixed right away. I actually needed it fixed yesterday, right? We don't have time to be like just waiting around and getting people to call us back. And I will use a story like most of my most issues, we never have any issues, but when we do, like it is like the world is about to end. I'm like messaging Ruben, I'm sending in the support, and honestly, whenever I send in support and message Ruben, support always gets back to me faster. And Ruben always tells me, he's like, look, man, I mean, you can Facebook message me, but I'm like working too. But that's why we have that little support icon that I have on my computer. And so most issues resolve right away. And I want to ask you guys this, if you're using Johnny on the side, I mean, yeah, you're saving some money. But again, if he has a day job, he's going to get to it when he can get to it. Right. And with you want it resolved right away. So I'm glad you brought that up, because that is
Yeah.
so important. And let's go into the data, because the thing is like, you always hear people getting ransomware and this and that. And I've talked to Ruben in the past. I said, man, that actually is pretty bad business if an IT company has all their clients attacked with ransomware. And he actually brought up a couple of cases where that actually happened. And talk about, Brian, talk about why there's such a big commitment, right? From Darkhorse standpoint, to make sure that type of stuff doesn't happen.
Yeah, well, it's becoming more and more common.
Yeah.
So ransomware is, we don't talk about antivirus anymore. We talk about anti-ransomware because it is what's happening. Why is it such a big deal? Because to us, downtime is unacceptable. Yeah. When you're running a business, we're an IT company, but we look at ourselves and we treat our clients as a partner. And if there's something that's interrupting your ability to function and operate day to day, then that's a big problem. Ransomware can be a huge deal.
I mean, how much from your experience, just talking to the team and hearing what happened to other people, like, I mean, what, besides the cost, the downtime, where you lose money with downtime, right? There's money loss right there. But talk about some of the instances, like how much ransom are some of these guys charging to get things done like that you've heard of?
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place. I mean, you can hear stories of somebody paying a few $1,000s
Yeah.
to the request starts at 1 million and you negotiate your way down to 25,000. You know, whatever that number ends up being, it's kind of it runs the gamut in terms of how much they ask for, how much you end up paying, and then do you get your data back anyway?
And think
Um,
about the stress too, right?
right. Yeah. I mean, and you just don't know. We've actually brought on a few clients who said, yeah, I had IT. Um, I got ransomware. I didn't even know it. And then all of a sudden I couldn't function. And
Oh gosh.
then I was told it was being resolved. And then a week later, I still wasn't functioning. And now I'm 2 weeks in and I can't handle it anymore. So it's a question mark. It could be short, could be long. And either way, that type of interruption to your business is really unacceptable.
So Brian,
Um,
since you were on the sales side and now you're like the head of marketing, right? Since you were on the sales side, I mean, how often did you hear people who are coming from somewhere else say that, man, they didn't really have a plan to protect me from ransomware? How often do you hear that?
Yeah, well, you hear two things. You hear I didn't have they didn't have a plan, or I was told they had a plan, but when it came time, they
There
didn't
wasn't a
actually have
plan.
a plan.
Oh
So
gosh.
that's, and that's the first conversation that we'll have when it comes to ransomware is not only do we have a plan, and let me spell this out for you exactly what it is, but anytime you want to see that each aspect of that plan is in place, we'll send you the report. You'll see that it's actually live and functional.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so Brian, in this segment here, we're gonna play a game. Since you're new to the Facebook Live, I'm just gonna throw you right in, right? And we're gonna play a game. We're gonna play the game. It's called the Four Misconceptions game, right? The Four Misconceptions of Darkhorse Tech. You ready to play, man?
Yeah, let's go for
Let's do it. Let's do it.
it.
Let's do it. Okay, so the first misconception is because Darkhorse headquarters is in New York, they can't take care of people nationwide. Why is that a misconception?
99.9% plus of all issues can be resolved remotely. And that is our goal. We're a growing company. We have team members that are on the ground all over the country. However, we see that as preference for the most part. Do you need to see somebody in your office because that gives you peace of mind? Sure, great. However, the reality is the issues that you're facing day to day when it comes to IT, if we do our job right, if we come in when we sign on with you or you sign on with us, we get into your office physically. Anybody that we're signing on, we will show up and be there in person. Uh, get a real feel for the practice itself, introduce ourselves to all the team members, kind of audit the entire system, make sure we're taking a lot of photos, a lot of video, getting a real sense of everything that's functioning in the practice. And then we install our software and we can essentially see your entire practice virtually. So anytime something pops up, you might not even know that an issue is occurring. We'll get an alert to our system, investigate it, and then reach out and say, hey, this just happened. And either it's an issue and these are the potential steps to resolve it, or it's not really an issue, but we wanted you to know. So the misconception that, we can't handle it, it's preference versus reality, I think,
Right.
is what it comes down to.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so the second misconception that's always put on Darkhorse is that, hey, IT is IT. Why do I need to use a dental IT company? Why can't I just use this other IT company? What do you say
You
to that,
can.
Brian?
You totally can. It just depends on if you want to spend a lot more money. I think what I was saying earlier about, Johnny on the side seems like a really affordable option up front.
Mhm.
Maybe the project is less expensive. Maybe the retainer is less expensive. Ultimately, you're going to spend more because it's going to take longer. And so you're either experiencing downtime or you're going to run into issues where you have to spend a lot more because someone has to try to figure out something they didn't know before.
Spend
So
more,
our team,
definitely spend more time. If they don't know anything about
yes,
practice management software, they got to learn it,
right,
right?
right, exactly.
And,
Yep.
and more time costs more money because, guys, if you know, people are paid hourly, right? There's an hourly rate there. All right. So
Yeah.
the next misconception, this is a big one, is, well, hey, I know a little bit about computers. I'll just do my own IT. I'll just do some dentistry and I'll just do my own IT. What do you say to that misconception?
That is, you want to do that, I think maybe you're in the wrong industry. If you want to spend all your time on computers, then switch it up, and that might be the answer for that one. But yeah, it to have the depth of knowledge that you need to really make sure that you're functioning on a high level day to day. You're going to spend way too much time focusing on that. And why focus on your computers when you can focus on your patients, your practice management,
What you went to
marketing
school
your
for,
business?
right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
I'm sure most of us can learn how to, you know, do some minor construction, you know, and do some house rehab. But it's like, if you don't know how, then it'd probably be better to get a professional to do it. So, anyways, I bring
Right.
that up because it's always funny, because people always say, well, man, I'll just do it myself. I can do my own back. I would do all this stuff. And I'm like, you might be able to do it maybe for the first year, and then you
Yeah.
get busy, and then it becomes a nuisance. And then what ends up happening is you just kind of like do it halfway, and then that's when you get in trouble. So
Yeah.
that's such a big misconception, and people always bring it up. I can do it myself, and I'm like, okay, we'll see how long that goes. Okay, and so the last misconception that's always brought up is, well, I have a small practice, like I don't know if I can afford, I can, maybe I'm a startup, man. I can't afford all this IT stuff. I'm not like these other guys where they have like 10 operatories and they can afford it. What do you say to that, to those people, to that misconception?
Yeah. Um, that's You just hit on 2 points that are kind of really key to what we do. Again, we are looking at ourselves as a business partner. Um, so the way for an existing practice, if you're looking to us for service, if you're a small practice, then that's how we're gonna line up our agreement with you, our managed services agreement. It's based on the size of your practice. So how much do we actually need to monitor? And how much equipment do we actually need to service? How much software do we really need to be focused on? And that brings your cost down if you're a smaller office. And for startups, it's becoming one of our favorite things to do. And when you're a startup office, you don't have any extra cash. You don't have cash flow. So we work with our startup practices in particular to make sure that you're getting the value. We know you're going to be a long-term client. Let's structure this in such a way that you're not starting out at the full cost of what we're going to be, what your full service agreement is going to be a year in, but we're ramping up. As you ramp up, so is the service agreement. Um,
I
yeah.
love
So
that. I
those are
mean,
the
again, there's a plan for everyone, and again, your plan grows as your practice grows as well. There's other things that you need to take care of, but absolutely. I mean, I've seen, guys, if you have questions about startups, I mean, go to the Darkhorse Tech Facebook page. They always do like these really cool like spotlights on startup practices. And again, if you need some design ideas, not I'm throwing it out there, but these guys have worked with a lot of startups, and feel free to ask them about that. That's the advantage you get when you're working with someone who's dental, as opposed to, I don't know, the Geek Squad or something. You could say, hey, I don't know, how many of these ports do you think I need in my operatory? The Geek Squad guy's gonna go, I don't know. You just need a plug, man. That's it. Like they don't have that expertise there. I love it. Okay, so since we're talking about cost, since we're talking about packages, I think it is appropriate to just kind of needle you for a nifty thrifty deal. Guys, you're watching the stream right now. You're probably doing it like eBay. You're waiting for the auction to end, and then you just come in and snipe something, right? You're probably logging on right now because I'm going to talk about a nifty deal. Well, here it is. Brian, what is the nifty deal?
I'll give you the nifty deal, and then I'll give you an extra deal
Oh, I love it.
for everyone to consider. So the nifty deal. 10% off your managed services. So
Nice.
it's actually a really substantial cut.
I mean, more than enough to take your team to the brewery, local brewery.
Exactly, way more than enough. And then as you know, as you've become a client of Darkhorse Tech, you're really happy with our services, and you think to yourself, "Oh man, I got to get the word out. I got to refer my friend who's just struggling through with their cousin doing their IT." You refer a friend, we'll give you a free month of service on top of it.
Oh, I mean, that's huge, guys. So for those who are watching, all right, and you're an existing Darkhorse client, hey, refer a friend, get hooked up. I love that, man. That's an awesome deal. But you know what, Brian, I'm gonna put you on the spot, and I'm gonna suggest a deal. I would say if so. Normally, I think that there's different agreements, right? Like 6 months and year and stuff like that, right? Okay.
So go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Okay, so I'm gonna say, and I won't put all the pressure on Brian, but I'm gonna say if you sign up for a certain amount of time, and I'll let Brian decide, that if you're ever in the area, Darkhorse Tech will take you out to the brewery and they'll pay for drinks and food.
This is a deal I can get behind for sure.
So I mean, again, if you're in the area, the brewery that Brian used to, where he met the Darkhorse team, Darkhorse will take you there, and they'll cover a couple of just 2 beers, okay? Because I know some of you guys, so just 2 beers in the food. They will add that if you sign up.
2 beers, food, and I'll see what I can do about doing a personalized tour around the brewery.
There you go. There you go, guys. So,
yeah,
so again, I mean, that's an extra nifty deal there.
And to go backwards just for a quick second, thought you were going into a different direction, but the another aspect of what we do with our service agreements is, if you're not happy, we don't want you stuck. If you're not happy, we want to hear about it and we want to resolve it. And if you're still not happy, we want to give you the ability to say, you know what, this isn't working.
Man,
and it really holds us accountable, and it gives a lot of peace of mind. So we only do month-to-month agreements. If you're ever unhappy, you can walk away. And luckily we have a lot of really happy clients, and that's one way to keep us accountable and have really long-term relationships with our partners.
So guys, I mean, again, there's no agreements. It's month to month. They earn their business every month. And again, if you sign up soon, Brian will get you the hookup with the brewery tour and beer and food on Reuben. So just letting you guys know that. Okay. I mean, this is not, ASAP. This is ASAP. You got to sign up right away. You have an open invitation. Come up to, message them about where the brewery is. Come on up. All right. And they will cover just 2 beers. Just 2. Okay. Some of you guys, you think it's going to be all you can drink. Just 2 beers in the meal. But seriously, the Nifty Thrifty deal, I mean, so many members are taking advantage of it. 10% off managed services. I mean, it can't get better than that. And also what Brian said, I mean, they don't hold anyone hostage, and honestly, most people, they're happy. They don't ever leave, but it's always good to have that, because, there's so many companies, people are like, I signed a contract, I'm stuck, and I can't wait to get out of it. But Brian, man, this is so awesome, man. You are like a natural. I have a feeling we're going to be dragging you on here more often. But Brian, before we jump off, what are your words to the Nifty Thrifty members? Let's do this. First, to the existing clients, and second, to the people who are hearing about Darkhorse for the first time. What is your message to them?
My message to the existing clients: I miss you. Reach out to me. In my new role, I don't get to spend as much time with you. Yeah. I got a chance to meet so many folks from the Nifty Thrifty group that are great, and I miss chatting with on a day-to-day basis. So reach back out. I miss you. Yeah, and then for the folks that are new and just hearing about Darkhorse, I'd love the opportunity to chat to you as well. We've got a great team. We're not hard pushing sales guys. We want to talk to you about what makes your practice unique, We want to make sure that we're the right fit for you and that you're the right fit for us. And that first call is just like a conversation. It's a good way to get to know maybe something you don't know, and you really just need to pick our brain. We're a resource too. It's not about getting as many clients as possible. We're happy to answer whatever questions everyone's got within the group.
I love it. Brian, thank you so much for jumping on. Guys, thanks for watching. Again, look out for that. I will put it in the comments section, the Nifty Thrifty deal. And if you act fast, the brewery option is right there. It'll be on Ruben. It's okay. He'll figure it out later. But
I'll see if I can
Brian.
drag him out. It'd be a group outing.
There you go. Thank you so much, Brian.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys later.